If you're anything like the average person, you might have guessed that the country closest to the moon is one of those nations perched up high on the globe, near the North or South Pole. After all, they're at the top and bottom, right? However, this common assumption, while logical, is not quite correct. You see, our Earth, much like a spinning top, isn't a perfect sphere. It's an oblate spheroid, meaning it bulges in the middle at the equator and squashes slightly at the poles. This bulge makes the equatorial regions physically closer to the moon than the polar regions. So, if we're looking for the country closest to the moon, we should be eyeing the equator, not the poles. And smack dab on the equator, we find a country that's not only known for its rich culture, diverse wildlife, and stunning landscapes, but also for its cosmic proximity. That country is Ecuador. Ecuador, the land of giant tortoises, as its name translates from Spanish, is the country closest to the moon. But it's not just Ecuador's prime equatorial location that earns it this title. There's a bit more to the story. It's not the entire country that's closest to the moon, but a specific point in Ecuador. That point is the peak of Mount Chimborazo, a dormant volcano that's not only the highest mountain in Ecuador, but also one of the highest peaks in the world. Mount Chimborazo's peak, due to the Earth's bulge at the equator, stands at the farthest point from the Earth's center, making it the closest terrestrial point to the moon. So, it's not about how high you are, but rather where you stand. And Ecuador, with its Mount Chimborazo, stands closest to our moon. Now that we've piqued your curiosity, let's dive into the world of Ecuador, the country that literally stands above us all. Nestled between Colombia and Peru, Ecuador straddles the equator, hence its name. It's a country that's as diverse as the equator is long. The capital city, Quito, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, known for its well-preserved colonial center and rich history. But it's not just about history and heritage. Ecuador is a melting pot of cultures, home to a mix of indigenous, mestizo, Afro-Ecuadorian, and European influences. This diversity is mirrored in its geography too. From the Amazon rainforest to the Andean highlands and the Galapagos Islands, Ecuador is a land of contrasts. Ecuador also boasts an array of exotic wildlife, including giant tortoises and blue-footed boobies, making it a paradise for nature lovers. So, you see, Ecuador is not just about its close proximity to the moon, it's a vibrant country with much more to explore. The moon has always fascinated humans. But for Ecuador, the bond is even more special. It has deeply influenced the culture, folklore, and traditions of Ecuador. Ecuadorians have been gazing up at the night sky for centuries, their lives intertwined with the cycles of the moon. Lunar phases play a crucial role in the agricultural practices of the indigenous communities. From planting to harvesting, the moon's phases guide the rhythms of the land. This is a testament to the symbiotic relationship between the Earth, the moon, and life in Ecuador. The moon also holds a revered place in Ecuadorian folklore. In many indigenous myths and legends, the moon is depicted as a nurturing figure, providing light in the darkness and guiding the way for travelers. Even today, these stories continue to be shared, passed down from generation to generation, keeping the bond between the moon and Ecuador alive. Furthermore, Ecuador's equatorial location offers a unique view of the moon. Unlike the tilted view from other parts of the world, Ecuadorians see the moon in its full glory, straight on. It's a sight that has inspired poets, artists, and dreamers throughout the ages. So, next time you gaze at the moon, remember the country that stands closest to it, Ecuador, the moon's earthly neighbor. And consider taking a trip here yourself to experience this very special destination. Until next time, happy travels.